Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what they've been doing. They've been using material from these mocks, and the thing they do is they combine it. So in some ways, the best way to work through that material is to move along everything, even if you go faster than usual. Because like when I say to you guys that we go through, let's say mock 1, 3, 5, 7, it's because when I address, let's say in mock 1, I already mentioned the variations of mock 2 because they are similar, but with some differences in which, let's say in the second audio, in some cases they understand the GPS malfunction, in some cases they don't. They think it's a GPWS malfunction.
that's right.
The runway incursion by a dog, which they consider an incursion, but in reality would be an obstruction. They sometimes understand there's a loose dog on board. They sometimes understand the dog is on taxiway Alpha or Bravo. So they have like three different exercises in which pretty much is the same thing except for the end. You know, in the end, they might understand the dog is somewhere different
Yeah.
or yeah or not. So from my perspective, what I should do next, and December is usually a good month for me to go and dig a little deeper on my material and change things and have more time to do that kind of thing. I think my next stage on the material is to summarize this into just a few classes in which I address all these variations, and then I'll leave it with some recorded classes so people can go faster through the material and everything they've been using in the test without having to go through necessarily all the mocks, just having a sort of a summarized class in which I address every single possibility, you know, in not just one class because then it would be too long, but just I don't know, maybe five classes in which I would address all the variations a little faster than going through all the mocks. So I'm thinking about doing this and in the future putting out as another sort of material for the website. But yeah, man, good to know. Good to know everything went accordingly. Hi, Adoraldo. How's it going, man? Nice to see you. We were talking to Colasso because he had his test yesterday and he got his result already. You got your test. You had your test yesterday, right?
Yes, interesting. Just one day
Yeah,
to give
yeah,
the. Uh,
yeah. They're being pretty fast now. It depends on where. I mean, you could be unlucky and have your test scrutinized by the ANAC people, and that would take more time. If your test goes to this ANAC supervision, it takes more time because this Overwatch, you know, it just, you know, they probably have less personnel and they are getting a percentage of tests that apparently is quite large nowadays. So a lot of people have been having I don't know, maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks to get their result, but that's probably because they got to that type of scrutiny and you know, but it was not your case. But because if they go through your test and they come to the conclusion and it doesn't get to that ANAC supervision, uh, specifically picking up and cherry picking your test for that, then it's usually 1, 2 days and you get your result. Yeah. So nice, good to know. Now, for those of you who don't know, I think only Crawford had a class with me today. I might be sounding a little different is because I hurt my tongue practicing jujitsu yesterday. So I'm talking in a little bit of a different way with my tongue more to the side and back of my mouth. And it's like severely injured here.
wow.
Yeah, took a headbutt to my jaw when I was fighting a guy and bit my tongue. Now that was my warning for me to
We,
get a mouthpiece to protect my tooth.
we will have a different accent today then.
Yeah, I'll probably have one. But it is, you know, in Portuguese it's even worse because Portuguese uses the tongue a little more than English, I guess, like more to the front part of the mouth. Anyways, let's do the following. I'm gonna be covering with you guys Mark 11 today because last class was Mark 9. And then
Right.
if you have, Colosso, if you have any specific exercise here that you feel is something that you could contribute, mentioning that it was the same or a little different than the one you have in your test, let us know. And we can have this in a
Okay.
conversation tone as well. In the future, Colosso, as I mentioned, I'm going to make more group classes for people who already passed the test. I'll be warning you about it. But for now, we're going to cover more tests because Crawford and Adraldo still have to pass the test. Let's do it. So we're going to go through mock 11 today. I have it open here already. So let's start with Crawford.
Okay.
All right, Crawford. So first question for part one of the test. What are the main responsibilities of the pilot after landing?
Well, in my opinion, the main responsibility of pilot after landing is check the runway condition, the weather, and prepare the cockpit before landing. I love the. Just a second, I'm sorry, but you asked me about after landing or before
After landing, yes. The main responsibilities of a pilot after landing. But good job doing this, clarifying if you're not totally sure.
I'm sorry,
It's fine.
After landing, the pilot needs to clean up the aircraft, the land configuration, okay? Leave the runway as fast as they can, and briefing the taxiway charge, and ensure they go to the correct apron area or point. Okay. Well, that's it. Shut down the engines, organize the aircraft, and go to the hotel.
Good job. Well done. Well done. Now tell me a little bit about what pilots should do, or what should a pilot do in general inside the cockpit before takeoff?
Well, before takeoff, pilot needs to run the after takeoff checklist or climb checklist. Okay, prepare aircraft to join the road, and monitoring all parameters and instruments of the aircraft during this phase of the flight.
Okay. It's interesting that the first question that we covered was something with after in the question for us, Crawford, because today in our class that was a subject of discussion. So after in English, guys, it's always a little complicated if you try to make a literal translation to Portuguese, okay? Because after in English has a different meaning in some ways. Like grammarly, it works different than Portuguese. Like, for instance, if I say, after lunch, I'll teach a class. After lunch, I'll teach a class. What am I doing first? Teaching the
lunch first, teaching class.
After lunch, I'll teach a class. Lunch is first. Sorry, did I say the class? After lunch, I'll teach a class. So lunch is first. After lunch, I'll do something. So when I say after lunch, what I'm actually saying in Portuguese would be equivalent to depois do almoço, and not just depois almoço or almoço, right? So after lunch means depois do. There's a connection which puts whatever I just mentioned as what I'll do first. And because of that, it's a little complicated, because if you make an equivalence of that word with depois, you're gonna be in trouble. Because if you say depois eu almoço e dou aula, quer dizer, você vai fazer as duas coisas depois desse depois, tá? O que você falou antes, que eu não falei nada aqui, seria o que você faz antes. Mas se você fosse fazer a equivalência, then you would have to say depois que eu almoçar, sei lá o quê. So basically, after usually means depois que, depois do, depois de, and not just depois, right? So that is why sometimes a lot of people make mistakes with this word. So in this case, it's nice to practice with the word after quite a lot in English and thinking in English, because the usage of this word is going to be a little different. Even me, I got confused when I was explaining in the beginning. I said, what came first? And Colasso was right. So after lunch, or after, let's say after teaching this class, I will see my daughter. I'll get my daughter. So I'll do the class first, then I'll get my daughter. But in Portuguese, the the sentence would be a little different. It would be a little different. There's no way you could make exactly the same sentence with after, meaning the same sequence than in English. It's a little different. Yeah. If you say something before as well, like for instance, if you say, I finished my lunch, if you say, I finished my lunch after I got home. Eu terminei o meu almoço depois que cheguei em casa, não depois cheguei em casa. Então percebe, se eu colocar duas coisas e o after no meio, fica mais doido ainda para comparar com o português. Eu falaria assim, ó, eu terminei o meu almoço, depois cheguei em casa. Vai parecer que eu almocei na rua. Mas se eu falar, I finished my lunch after I got home, so I got home and after that I finished my lunch. Yeah. So the best way for you to use after correctly is not to try to make the equivalence in Portuguese because it's different. The way that these words work is a little different. So in English, after is the idea of after blah, 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 I did something. Yeah. So it's like depois que or depois do in Portuguese. And the funny thing is that sometimes you might use the word just after in English as like this, and after that becomes similar to depois vírgula. So if I say, I had lunch. After that, I taught a class. Eu almocei. Depois disso, eu dei aula. Aí fica sequenciamento certo. Yeah? E aí poderia ser depois dei aula. Percebe? Eu não precisaria falar depois disso em português. Eu poderia falar, eu almocei. Depois dei aula. I had lunch. After that, taught a class. Yeah? Aí você usa o after that, onde no português é só o depois, vírgula. Ó que doideira. Então, várias vezes o after entra no lugar de um depois que, ou depois do, e o after that entra no lugar de um depois, vírgula. Entendeu? Então, resumindo, pensem em inglês quando forem trabalhar com after, tá? Agora, um paralelo direto, then. Then é o então. E aí ele sequencia igualzinho o nosso então do português. Like, if you say, I had lunch, then I taught a class. Yeah? Eu dei aula, desculpa, eu almocei, então dei uma aula. Yeah? All right. Now let's go to question 2. Go ahead.
This was exactly one of the question part 1 yesterday.
Oh yeah, you had this one.
What the pilot should do before? What they do before takeoff?
Takeoff or before takeoff? Is that one the one?
Yes.
Because I asked him 2 questions: main responsibilities after landing, then the follow-up: what should the pilot do inside the cockpit before takeoff? That was the one.
That's one.
Yeah.
Before takeoff.
So before takeoff. All right. This type of question, I usually think that when they ask you what type of thing you should do, etc., it's a fertile ground for the answers in which you keep mentioning things without having to connect them so much because you are thinking and coming up with the ideas, like just giving examples. So you could say, well, let me think about it. Before takeoff, we have to prepare the flight by checking the instruments. What else? Checking the charts, making sure you have all the details, and you have a briefing before that. You also have to perform a walk around, check all the documentation, refuel the aircraft. So you keep like saying and taking the time and saying something else. It's an easy question for you if you take that path, right? Because you take time and just to remember whatever it is that you are remembering or pretending to remember, and you just say them slowly. So how did you answer this one, Colasso? Let us see.
No, yesterday the question, I think it was more specifically what pilots should do in the cockpit before
takeoff. So what should pilots do inside the cockpit before they take off?
I started. Let me think a few months about that to organize my thoughts, and I said, oh. But before I went to the cockpit, I do my turnarounds, check, and see that. And
yeah, so you go along this line.
And after that, already in the cockpit, we will go for checklists and check the clearance to take off and things like that.
Yeah. So citing things, just cite a few things and take your time. The best way. Don't rush. Don't try to make like long sentences. Just make short sentences remembering what you do. And question 2 then for Adraldo. Adraldo, What are the main characteristics of the first aircraft you flew? You are muted. Okay.
Well, the main characteristics of the first aircraft I flew was the aircraft is made tubes structure. The structure of the aircraft was tube, and around it, it was I'm not sure, but not slice. I don't remember the term of the sendo, but it's and so it was a simple aircraft, you know, single engine, the convention landing gear, and very light aircraft, called CAP4, CAP4, and then it was a interesting aircraft, very, very good to fly, and I had a good memory about this aircraft.
All right. A good vocabulary you could use to talk about the tubes and even make it a little easier because the pronunciation is hard for tubes, right? It's like the type of U is like tubes. So you could say it was a steel tube construction, because if you say steel tube, then both words work better together. It makes it obvious what you're talking about, right? So you could say this aircraft is a very simple type of aircraft. The construction is a steel tube construction, which is very simplistic, and it's a CAP4 type of aircraft. I flew this one first, and I had a nice experience flying it, but it's a very, very simple type of aircraft, and it serves well as a flight school type of aircraft for us to learn the basics. It's a low performance aircraft, obviously, and it's a quite forgiving aircraft. You could say this adjective, even if it's not the case, just to use it. It's a quite forgiving type of aircraft, because for instruction flights, obviously, it's nice if the aircraft is a forgiving aircraft, which means that you can make mistakes and the aircraft will not penalize you so much for it. So it's a forgiving type of aircraft, right? So it's a quite forgiving type of aircraft, ideal for training. And I had a lot of training and I liked it. I had some fun on it. I had my first experiences on that aircraft and I think it was ideal. It was nice. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Secondary question here, the follow-up for that one. And how was your first flight as a passenger, Adroaldo? Do you remember?
First flight as a passenger, yes. My first flight as a passenger was
Just make sure you
glider.
pronounce the word flight com o Tzinho no final, para não parecer my first flight, tá? My first flight as a passenger.
Well, my first flight as a passenger was in a glider. So it was a very interesting experience to me when I saw the horizon, how long, and it's a good memory for me. So this was my first flight as a passenger.
Nice. That's an interesting experience because, well, it's totally different, and a glider must be something awesome to fly, especially first. Now, as for the memory, you said it was a very nice memory, a wonderful memory. You could use an adjective like, it's a very fond memory of mine. Found é uma que é memorável, antiga, vem da ideia do found no passado, mas nesse substantivo específico, que é memory, significa uma memória que você tem uma nostalgia a respeito, tá? Não é só achada, né? No sentido de algo que você preza também. So I have a very fond memory of my first flight because it was a glider flight, and it was a wonderful experience. You know, the silence of flying a glider, the horizon, and the sunset. Or was it a sunset or sunrise you mentioned?
In my first flight.
First flight as a passenger that you mentioned.
Yes, it was in the afternoon, in the middle of
the afternoon. All right, so it was a very beautiful day, and I have a very fond memory of that flight. It's a good specific adjective.
360 degrees around is very nice, the horizon.
Where was it, Adroaldo? What was the place?
In Passo Fundo, in my city.
Passo Fundo. Okay,
Yes.
good. All right, and now a question. We're gonna go to third question, and let's go with you, Colasso. In your opinion, what will change in relation to pilots training in the next few years?
I'm not an expert on training, but I can imagine that with technology we will have better simulators, more realistic environment in a simulator flight. So I can imagine that the training will be, although we already have very realistic simulators, but I think you improve image, sound, maybe with a kind of another dimension, like smell of hydraulic, smell of fire or smoke or something like that, to be more realistic. That's my opinion.
Okay. You could use the adjective here. I think they will improve image, sound, smell, fire, etc. You could say, I think they will improve even more or even further. Yeah. I think they will improve even more with better image, sound, more real, even more realistic than it is nowadays. So then it's an emphasis, right? Even more. So the word that you are lacking to use that as an emphasis would be to say it's already very realistic, but I believe they will improve even more. It will become even more realistic than it is. Essa é uma ênfase para usar que seria ainda mais, né, do português. Even more. All right, and what are the advantages, in your opinion, of being trained in simulators?
I think the main advantage that you can simulate any kind of aircraft condition. Many of them you wouldn't be possible to it wouldn't be possible to simulate in a real flight, even a helicopter or fixed-wing aircraft. It would be impossible to simulate or to emulate. So this, I think, is the biggest advantage.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think the biggest advantage is that we cannot die in a simulator, unless from a heart attack, maybe.
Yes.
maybe of a heart attack.
Depending on the structure.
Yeah, I guess. All right, now let's go to part 2, interacting as a pilot. And in this part, you guys will interact as if you are pilots. You know how it is. First, we will have an audio just for audio test. Tell me if you guys hear it well. I'll play a good one today.
Santos Dumont English Assessment. This is a sound check. Please confirm to the examiner if the volume is okay and you can hear the recording loud and clear.
All good?
All good.
Oh, just one thing. Since you took your test yesterday, was the one that they play still that one with the guy with some echo in the background and a very, very sort of a
No,
dull...
yesterday, I think it was better than my last time there. And they
Yeah?
changed the can I say, layout of the room, put the camera in another place. So, but the sound is better.
Was not this one here, was it? This one.
Dumont English Assessment.
No. It's like the previous one that you.
Yeah, because I'm tired of this one. I don't want to play this one anymore. It's horrible. It's like they recorded that on the shittiest microphone possible in a restroom or something. So I don't want to play this one even in my classes anymore. It's like Santos Dumont English Assessment, and it's like the worst part about that audio check is that there are parts of it that are loud and parts that are low. So if you want to play an audio check, yeah, it has to be very like, if you put it like that file, let me show you guys this because I have all this, material that I use. Let me try to show you what I mean, because I use audio editors all the time for making my own material and to work on the material I have. And when you put that audio there, you see that it's horrible. Let me show it to you. Like, look at this. I just dragged and dropped that audio. So this is left and right channel. You can see that there's a huge difference between left and right channel for that audio. So if you use that audio as the audio for your radio check or your sound check, there's a lot of echo. Could you guys hear it?
No.
Yes.
It didn't play there. So there, oh, it's because I think I'm sharing just the image. Look at that. I'll share it with the sound now. Look at that. Yeah?
No.
It's playing? It's not playing?
No.
I wish it was, but it's that one that I played before. Now the difference is bizarre because, you know, that one sounds like someone recorded that not to be an audio check because, you know, the difference is incredible. If you drag and drop the file that I like using, which is that one, let me show you guys. Let me show it to you guys. Okay, sharing the screen again. You guys see it? Now that's the one that I put at the bottom that I like using. You see that the waves are almost the same, and I made it a mono, so both ears will sound exactly the same. So when I play that one, this is a decent sound check because the audio is not bursting at any time, and it's similar the whole time in terms of its wavelength. But the ones that they used to use was the one on top, so it's nice to know they're not using that anymore because that one was horrible. That's the one. Yeah. Anyways, now it's much better then. Good to know. So let's go. So part 2, interacting as the pilot. Crawford, we'll start with you. So in this first situation here, remembering that we are going through Mach 11. In this first situation, imagine that you are going to land at Houston Airport, listen to Houston Center, and read back.
Mac 123, descend and maintain 17,000. Altimeter setting 29 or 9 or 6. Expect vectors for RNAV runway 08 left approach.
Houston control, ANAC 123, Roger. Clear descent to 17,000 feet. K8 is 2996. Expect vector ILS runway 08 left. ANAC 123.
Okay, now you receive abnormal indications from your right-hand engine, and you decide to request priority landing. Contact Houston Approach and say your intentions. Well done. Take your time, finish your notes.
Pom pom. Houston Approach, ANAC 123. We have abnormal engine indication. Request vectors and priority land, ANAC 123.
ANAC 123, Houston Approach, Roger. Descend to 8,000 feet. Expect vectors to final approach. Say again the problem. Are you declaring an emergency?
Houston Approach, ANAC 123. I'm declaring urgence and priority land. Roger, descend to 8,000 feet. Expect ILS approach, ANAC 123.
Okay. Now, Captain, what happened here? What did the controller say?
The controller asked me if if I was declaring emergency or just declaring some problem, and they gave some vectors to expect ILS approach.
Okay, good job. So in this case here, it all depends a little bit on what you said, because if you declared emergency in a situation like this, then obviously you would confirm. But if you didn't, then you would say negative, just reporting engine problems, but not declare an emergency, if that's the case, okay? Because I had some cases in which students declared an emergency because of something like that, and cases in which the student didn't, so it depends on what you say first, okay?
Okay.
All right, well done. Now, situation 2, imagine you're going to land at Santiago Airport, listen to Santiago approach and read back. And that's going to be for Adraldo.
ANAC 123, hold at Glesta intersection, left-hand pattern, maintain flight level 100, expect further clearance in 10 minutes due to traffic.
Adraldo?
Oh, sorry. Santiago approach. Can you say again to ANAC 123?
ANAC 123, hold at Glesta intersection, left-hand pattern, maintain flight level 100, expect further clearance in 10 minutes due to traffic.
Santiago approach, ANAC 123, maintain 10,000 feet, expect clearance for 10 minutes due to traffic, ANAC 123.
Okay, Captain. Now, while holding, you face severe turbulence, so call Santiago approach, inform you cannot accomplish the holding pattern at the assigned altitude, and request a different flight level.
Right. Santiago approach, ANAC 123, we are facing severe turbulence, request instructions to change the flight level, ANAC 123.
ANAC 123, confirm that you're able to maintain flight level 100 in spite of moderate turbulence. You are number 4 for landing.
Affirm we have experiencing severe turbulence. No, negative. We have facing severe turbulence and request change the. It's unable to maintain flight level 10 altitude 100. Flight level 100. Sorry, correction. Disregarding. Santiago approach, ANAC 123, negative. We are facing severe turbulence and request.
Just one thing. We are facing a severe turbulence, not a severe turbulence.
Severe turbulence and request change of flight level, unable to maintain flight level 100. And we expect, we are aware about number 4 for landing, ANAC 123.
All right, good job. What happened here, Captain? What did the controller say?
The controller misunderstood the message and understood that we were under moderate turbulence and instruct us to maintain flight level 100. And informed us that we were number 4 for landing.
Okay, very good job. Now, situation 3 for Colasso. You got it all on this one. Well done. Maintain flight level 100 in spite of moderate turbulence. They made a mistake here, so you just had to correct and say that it was severe turbulence, and probably they're going to change the instructions later. All right, next situation, situation 3. Colasso, you were flying to Manchester Airport. Listen to Manchester Control. Read back.
ANAC 123, Manchester Control. Descend to flight level 210. Turn right heading 160. Expect 10 minute hold at Whiskey Hotel, India, VOR.
This is ANAC 123. Say again.
ANAC 123, Manchester Control, descend to flight level 210, turn right heading 160, expect 10 minute hold at Whiskey Hotel, India, VOR.
This is ANAC 123, Wilco, descend flight level 210, turning right 160, expecting 10 minutes holding at Whiskey Hotel, India, VOR, ANAC 123.
All right, Captain. Now you notice that your left engine oil temperature has increased beyond limits. So you had to shut it down. Contact Manchester Control to report your problem and say your intentions.
Manchester Control, ANAC 123, pam 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 pam. We lost left engine due to high temperature. Request priority to land. ANAC 123.
Listen to what they reply and read back.
ANAC 123, fly direct to Whiskey Hotel India VOR and expect direct approach to runway 05 right. I understand you shut one of your engines down due to high oil temperature. Confirm?
This is ANAC 123. Correct. I shut down my left engine. Roger about fly direct to VOR and expecting runway clear to runway 05 right. ANAC 123.
All right. Yeah, these are my notes here. I just did it while I was listening with you guys. I like to use direct to as the one we have on the GPS system, the D with an arrow for direct approach. That's what I'm sharing. Shut down. Temperature 05
This is
right.
the worst part for me to take notes.
Yeah, whenever they ask me for confirmations, please confirm, I put a question mark. So I know it's like they want confirmation of something. I think this one is relevant as well. Because, some of these symbols took me a while to come up with them. So I think it's helpful to share so that you guys can try to use it or even contribute with some you made as well. This is very personal, the way that things work for you. But when I come up with something that I think it's short and has a very obvious meaning when you see it, like this question mark is very good. I put the question mark, I know there, please confirm. I don't have to say, please confirm, Yeah. State the nature of your problem. I just put a question mark and maybe nature. I don't know. This question mark. All right. Another one that I like is for when they declare, let's say, emergency or pen mayday, I put an exclamation point. M exclamation or P exclamation. So I know it's a declaration for emergency or urgency as well. All right. Now, and this is just for the ICAO test, if you think about it, because obviously in a real situation, you know if you are declaring emergency or urgency, right? But in the test, you're telling the story, so you are actually taking notes about that from a passive perspective, which is not how it would be in real life. All right, good. Now explain to us what happened here, Colosso.
The controller gave me instructions to fly direct to VOR and to expect the clear to land runway 05 right, and asked me to confirm if I had shut down both engines. So I correct, telling just I shut down only the left engine.
All right, good job. Now let's go to situation 4. In this next situation, imagine you are at San Francisco Airport. Listen to San Francisco ground control. Read back.
For who?
Oh, yeah, that one is going to be, I didn't mention, but that one's going to be for Crawford, okay?
That's
there
for me.
All right, there it goes. San Francisco Airport, San Francisco ground control, passing a message.
Holding point, runway 01 right via taxiways Golf, Bravo, and Alpha. Approaching holding point monitor tower on frequency 118.85, number 6 for departure.
San Francisco ground, ANAC 123, Roger. Clear taxi, runway 0 right, taxiway via Golf and Bravo, hold point, contact tower on frequency 118.85. I'm number 6 to departure, ANAC 123.
Okay, what was the runway again?
01 right.
Okay, got it. When you said it, I just heard 0 right. I didn't hear 01. My mistake.
01 right.
That's like a 0 right. What runway is that? 36, but 0. All right. And Captain, now imagine they're in the taxi. You see a situation like this one here. So I want you to call San Francisco ground to inform them about the situation.
Okay. San Francisco ground, ANAC 123. Reporting drone flying nearest us. Request ground service to remove the drone, ANAC 123.
Now listen to what they read back.
ANAC 123, hold position. Please confirm, is there debris near your aircraft?
Ground, San Francisco ground, ANAC 123. Negative debris on the ground. There is a drone flying nearest us. Request ground service to remove the drone, ANAC 123, holding position.
Almost perfect. Just careful with near to us. Just near us. Near us.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a difference here that is worth pointing out. There is another way to talk about things that are near you, which is to use the phrasal verb close to us, close to me. Then we use this to because it's a phrasal verb, and close by itself means to close something like a lid, like a cap, yeah, to close. So when we say close to, we are actually creating a new word, a phrasal verb, changing the meaning to say that something is near. But near is already a word that signifies something near you. So you don't say near to you, near to us, near to them. Is near them, near me, near us. Okay?
Near us. Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
Correct. All right.
Good.
But probably the reason why you said near to us or near to me is because you are used to use the phrasal verb close to. Then it's close to me, close to you. Yeah.
No,
right.
Probably.
It's like have to or must, if you think about it. It's the same type of logic. Think about it. If I say you have to talk like this, it means a necessity, right? So when I say have to, I'm making a phrasal verb out of the initial meaning of have, to have something, means to have possession of something, like I have a chair, I have a computer, I have something means possession, right? So have as a verb already means to have possession of something, to possess something, have. All right. So when you say have to, you're implying a different meaning. It's a phrasal verb for necessity. So I'm saying I have to call him. It's like I must call him. But it's not I must to call him, because that too is with have to change the meaning. Yeah?
Okay.
That's the same logic applies here. So have to is the same of must something. So I have to work, I must work. I have to take off, I must take off. I'm close to another aircraft, I'm near another aircraft. They are close to the airport. I am close to the airport, or I am near the airport. Yeah, same too. All right.
Perfect.
Situation 5. Adderaldo, I think. Adderaldo? Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you are now at Galeon Airport. Listen to Galeon ground control. Read back.
ANAC 123, good morning. Start up and pushback approved. Temperature 28. Report ready for taxi and advise number of persons on board.
Galeon ground, can you say again to ANAC 123?
ANAC 123, good morning. Start up and pushback approved. Temperature 28. Report ready for taxi and advise number of persons on board.
Galeon ground, and ICAO 123, clear to start and pushback. Temperature to 8 degrees. We will inform when ready to taxi, and the person on board are 28 on board, and ICAO 123.
All right. Good job. You can come up with a number like this, okay? Or you can say standby for POB. Yeah.
Oh,
As well.
standby, right?
Yeah, if you want to simplify it, you could always say standby for POB. I do that all the time when I'm flying and I don't know the number of messages or estimated time. You know, it's like, what's your ETA? Standby for ETA. And then I calculate or I go to the GPS to check because I don't have it, at the back of my head. So standby for it. So do that if you want. All right, and now imagine during the pushback, this situation here happens to you. So call Galeon ground to inform them about the situation. Now, even though this is an airplane picture, they use this type of picture for the helicopter test as well, okay?
All right. So Galeon ground and ICAO 123 informed that we hit on a truck and request ground assistance. And
Not bad, but instead of informing that, or it said informing that, reporting. Remember? So you don't even have to use that.
Right.
Reporting, ground collision.
Ground collision, right.
Yeah. Go ahead, do it again.
Okay. Galeon ground and ICAO 123. Sorry. Disregard.
Disregard, I say again.
Yes, I will say again. Galeon ground and ICAO 123. So you said me in a few moments the word reporting, right?
Reporting. Remember, reporting, requesting. All we need here.
Galeon ground and ICAO 123 reporting ground. Oh my God. Ground collision, request ground assistance, and ICAO 123.
That's it. Simple as that. Control and ICAO 123. Reporting ground collision, requesting assistance. That's it. Do it again, just to practice. I want to hear you say it from the beginning to the end with no faltering.
Okay. So
one more time.
I need to say again. All right. So
yeah, just one more time, just to practice.
Thank you. So Galeon ground and ICAO 123 reporting ground collision, request ground assistance, and ICAO 123.
That's it. Well done. Now listen to what they say. Read back again. Menos é mais. So go.
ANAC 123, hold position. We can see a pushback tow truck struck your right engine. Confirm. We are sending assistance.
Galeon ground and ICAO 123, we reporting a ground collision with a truck on the right side of the aircraft. Request ground assistance and ICAO 123.
Okay, what happened here? What did they say?
The controller instruct us to hold position. And
cuidado com essa palavra, não come ela não. Instructed us.
Instructed us to maintain, to hold position, and asked us to if we were inside of ground truck in the right side of the aircraft. That was,
so he understood
it.
He understood the situation, right? In this case.
All right. So
yeah. So you could mention that.
Okay.
You say, well, the controller understood the situation, just asked me for confirmation and told me that assistance was on the way. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Now let's go to part 3. Part 3 is the part you guys listen to the audio, it plays twice, then you explain what happened. Colasso is here again, so Colasso will be the first one with situation 1 after playing it twice. Take notes, tell me what happened. There you go, situation 1.
JetBlue 755, descend to flight level 240. I just want to verify. You said you need medical assistance, is that correct?
Washington Center, negative. We need assistance to navigate. Our navigation system is not working properly. Descending to flight level 250, JetBlue 755.
I'll say again, JetBlue 755. Descend to flight level 240.
Roger, Washington Center. Flight level 240, JetBlue 755.
JetBlue 755. Descend to flight level 240. I just want to verify. You said you need medical assistance, is that correct?
Washington Center, negative. We need assistance to navigate. Our navigation system is not working properly. Descending to flight level 250, JetBlue 755.
I'll say again, JetBlue 755. Descend to flight level 240.
Roger, Washington Center. Flight level 240, JetBlue 755.
Okay, the situation started with the controller passing information to descend to flight level 240 and request the aircraft confirm that request the pilot to confirm that he asked for medical assistance. So the pilot of jet flight 755 corrected the controller. What they were needing was assistance to navigate due to their navigation system was not working properly, and told to do and wrongly acknowledge to the controller that they will descend to flight level 250, and then the controller correct the pilot to descend to flight level 240. That's it.
All right. Good job. Well done. And Captain, tell me, why is reading back so important?
This is a good example that we are just see. The aircraft would be flying without a readback. The aircraft would be flying in a wrong level and could have some problems with mid-air collision, for example. And so that's very important to check if the information was received and it was correctly understood. That's the point.
Right.
They got to read back.
Well done. There was a question they used to ask, but I'm not receiving any feedbacks currently about it anymore. But just so we cover it, in which they asked, what's the importance of hearbacks, readbacks and hearbacks? Now, do you guys know what a hearback is? Hearback is basically paying attention to what someone is saying. So the importance of a hearback is precisely the importance of a readback as well, because if you read back, someone must be hearing back. Yeah. So you read back because someone is hearing back. So to hear back means to have an active listening attention. So you're listening and paying attention to what you're listening, right? You're not just hearing things, you're hearing back. So you are confirming if the readback is correct. So obviously one thing is only important because of the other. So if they ever ask you guys, and what about hearbacks? You say, well, hearbacks are, active listening is what we could call it, is the idea of paying attention to what's being said. So to listen carefully and make sure everything was understood by paying attention to the readback. So obviously it's important. All right, well done. Situation 2 now. Crawford, pay attention because you will be the one explaining this one to me. There he goes.
No.
No.
Not playing?
No.
I was already.
Land Center, this is Tiger 456. I fly from Paris and Frankfurt at flight level 080, taking heading 280 to avoid weather.
Tiger 456, Roger, maintain present altitude, turn left, heading 270, For separation, contact Claremont approach on frequency 128.65.
Lion Center, this is Tiger 456. I fly from Paris to Frankfurt at flight level 080, taking heading 280 to avoid weather.
Tiger 456, roger, maintain present altitude, turn left, heading 270. For separation, contact Claremont approach on frequency 128.65.
Wow. Okay. Well, in this audio, the pilot from the controller, they maintain flight level 080 and make some deviation in order to avoid bad weather conditions. Okay. The controller acknowledged their situation and instructed the pilot to maintain their altitude, but turn left, heading turn left, make a left turn, heading 270 in order to maintain a separation and to contact the approach on frequency 128.65.
All right, but the heading, what was the heading again?
270.
Okay, 270. Yeah, I think it was 270.
456, I fly from Paris to Frankfurt at flight level 080, taking
flight level 080, heading 280,
altitude, turn
maintain
left,
present altitude.
heading 270.
Yeah, 270. Okay. Now, Captain.
The first heading is
280.
280.
Yeah. So the aircraft contacted the controller saying they had an IFR prepared from Paris to Frankfurt. They were flying flight level 080, heading 280. Controller told them to maintain altitude, but to turn left to heading 070. Yeah, sorry.
270.
My mistake, 270. And to contact 128.65 for separation. Yeah? All right, good job. Now, Captain, what can happen to an aircraft if it flies into a cumulonimbus cloud?
Well, the aircraft could face many situations if they fly through many situations if they fly through
not many situations, but many consequences, right? The situation is just one, flying into the cumulonimbus cloud, but many consequences.
Many consequences. The aircraft could suffer many consequences if they were flying through cumulonimbus. Probably they were facing severe turbulence, and maybe they could face ice condition. Okay, well, it's not a good idea, mainly when you're talking about smaller planes. It could cause severe damage on the aircraft.
All right, well done. Now let's go to situation 3 with Colosso. No, actually, after Crawford is Adraldo. My mistake. Adraldo, pay attention, you need to play twice. There it goes.
Okay.
Miami approach, Delta 61 Heavy. We lost our hydraulic system. Request the longest available runway to perform a flaps up landing.
Delta 61 Heavy. Expect approach to runway 09 and left. State top of descent. Do you need any assistance upon landing?
Miami approach, Delta 61 Heavy. We lost our hydraulic system. Request the longest available runway to perform a flaps up landing.
Delta 61 Heavy. Expect approach to runway 09 and left. State top of descent. Do you need any assistance upon landing?
Well, in this situation, pilot reported to control that they lost the hydraulic system and requested long runway to perform a landing. and the controller informed that they would expect approach to runway 09 left, and asked them if they needed assistance upon of landing.
Okay, all right. A few keywords you missed here. One I don't care because it's for airplane pilots. They mentioned it was for a flaps up landing. Okay, that they needed the longest possible runway because of a flaps up landing. But you're a helicopter pilot, the situation would not include that vocabulary for you. However, at the end, they mentioned state top of descent. It would be nice for you to mention that top of descent. State top of descent. Do you need assistance upon landing? Okay. I'll play it again so you can recognize this vocabulary as well.
Hydraulic system requests the longest available runway to perform a flaps up landing.
Yeah, request the longest possible runway to perform a flaps up landing.
All right.
Delta 61 heavy. Expect approach to runway 09 and left. State top of descent.
State top of descent.
Do you need any assistance upon landing?
Okay.
All right.
All right. Now, Captain, what may happen when a hydraulic system fails?
Well, if a hydraulic system failure can provide many problems in the aircraft because many systems of the aircraft usually use the hydraulic pressure or system to perform for example, controls of the aircraft, and in the case of the airplane, probably landing gear and flaps will use the hydraulic system, and in this situation, these systems could be
crucial.
What?
Crucial, critical, important.
Could be crucial or important, and probably this system will not working properly. That's it. Work properly.
Yeah. Could not be working properly. Yeah, the hydraulic systems are used for moving parts in general, and flight controls could be included. Usually they are. So flight controls, pitch of the blades or angle of the blades on a rotary wing aircraft, the blades of the rotor on an airplane, the propeller blades. So yeah, basically hydraulic systems operate many moving parts and essential parts, critical components of the flight. An important keyword for you to have it always at your disposal as a nice, very, very relevant adjective, critical. Yeah?
Critical.
That can be very critical. All right. A critical component, a critical or essential, but critical is even more technical for us in aviation. All right. Now, Adoraldo, stay with me and make a comparison here. Compare the three situations we heard in this part and tell me which one you think is the worst to deal with and why.
Well, in these three situations, I think the last one is the most critical situation, because the aircraft lose an important system, and they lose the hydraulic system, and so probably the land will be performed.
The land, not the land.
The landing will be performing in a different, in an abnormal situation. And the second situation, or the middle situation to lead, I think it was the second, when the aircraft informed that the navigation system were not working properly. And,
just one thing, the navigation system was, because it's one system, if you say it like this, the navigation systems were, or the navigation system was not working properly.
and probably the aircraft will perform an over vector situation or use conventional navigation systems. And the easiest situation, or the less complicated situation, less critical situation.
In this case, since you're saying the last, it's the least critical situation.
All right. The least critical situation was the first situation that pilot reported. Well, sorry, where is? Oh, I'm sorry. I make a mistake, because the second situation is a weather situation. So, and the second situation is
the first one is the mistake in which they thought it was a medical situation and it was a navigation assistance. The first one.
Yes.
The second one was the situation in which they just were having a conversation with the controller due to an IFR preparation, and apparently everything was normal. I think. I don't think they had any problem at all. They're just making turns to avoid weather. The question later was if you fly into a cumulonimbus, but they were just making deviation to avoid weather. So it seems like normal scenario. Third situation, hydraulic system failure. That's the worst one by far, in my opinion. That's the only one that is really a problem, the way I see it. I mean, the other one is a problem, medical situation, but it was not a medical situation. As a matter of fact, was a navigation problem. But I think it's more manageable, you could say, right? That the controller is able to provide vectors, probably. Yeah?
All right. So the
requested navigation assistance.
Yes, I think that the least situation.
The least what?
The least critical.
Least critical, yeah.
Least critical situation was the weather conditions, that the aircraft could avoid it.
Same plural. The least was the weather condition, not conditions.
Weather conditions.
Porque a gente, não, condition.
Condition.
A menos foi a da condição, não de condições. A gente está falando de singular aqui, né? The least critical situation was the weather condition situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right. Yeah, I think that too. Now, let's go to, oh my God, it's already 6:41. Guys, I wanted to cover all parts with you and finish this mock. So I'll do the following. For part 4, I will do it later and I'll send you guys as a video on the group, okay? I think that would be nice as well, because it will serve as some encouragement for more people to join us in the next class as well. Because I don't have time, I really have to go. I have to get my daughter early today because my father-in-law has to leave his house at 7, so it's already 19 minutes to 7. Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you for being patient with me, right? Because
no,
my English is improving.
Don't worry at all. That's my job, and I think everyone here enjoys your company, and you're doing fine. You just have to practice. You're doing okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think one of the nice things, the nice perks of having these classes is to break the ice of this as well. You know, to be able to try your best in front of other people, make mistakes, be corrected. No worries. You know, it's a learning process, a learning curve. Yeah. Good job. Every one of you. Proud of you guys. You're doing well. All right. And very proud of Colasso for another validation completed.
3 years more.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I hope you continue to come. I will expand these classes into, you know, group classes just for conversation. I'll start with something like half an hour class just to see if people keep coming, so we can, you know, I'll send some messages to students who already passed the test this year so they can come back and just have some conversation classes based on case studies and just other stuff other than the ICAO test. And then people who are actually practicing for the ICAO test, they can participate as well for sure, but then it would be a little more encompassing for people who are already done with the test for now. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, sure. Pode falar.
Desde a última vez que eu fiz, eu sigo uma dica que você deu lá atrás e para mim funciona perfeitamente. Na prova, assim que vai para a parte 2, que ela me dá a folha e a caneta, eu já escrevo lá em cima, Report Performing Request. Pronto. Aí, eu já tenho as 3 palavras que eu só vou usar aquelas.
Exatamente.
Report Performing Request. Performing, às vezes, eu não preciso usar. Mas
Normalmente é isso.
o report e o request está ali. Então não dá um branco, você tem que ver aquele branco. Já escreve logo na folha lá. A folha depois ela é triturada. Depois você entrega a folha, ela é triturada, essas três já foram. Já...
Exatamente.
Excelente.
É isso. Essa parte do que a gente precisa falar, né? Quando ele fala o que aconteceu, cara, sintetiza para isso. O que você reporta, o que você solicita. Reporting, requesting, acabou. Control, ANAC 1, 2, 3. Reporting this, requesting that. Você só tem que fazer a filtragem. Tudo que ele me falou significa que eu vou reportar o que, solicitar o que. Reporting this, requesting this. Às vezes, como o Finoto falou, você pode usar o performing para fazer algo que você já está efetuando e não precisa pedir, né? Não precisaria de um requesting para um go around. E aí você pode falar performing go around para repetir o termo que o cara usou, ou poderia até falar going around também no gerúndio, né? Ok? É isso aí. Valeu. Obrigado, Finoto. Valeu pelo feedback de sempre. Valeu. Grande abraço a todos.
Obrigado mais uma vez. Boa noite,
Até quinta.
Parabéns, Colasso, mais uma vez aí.
Valeu.
Valeu, pouco.
Valeu.
Obrigado.
Falou.